created a lively discussion. Okay, one last, and then let's move on because we have a few more.
I have a question about, I mean, you use Amiando, and we attempted to use PayPal, and had some issues with, actually our treasurer, who didn't like using it, but have other people used PayPal? And have comments about PayPal and have had some good success with it?
We use PayPal, which is actually...
Can you stand up?
We started, I'm Sally Shaw,
Sally, we can't hear you. You go, you need to.
Okay, this is the last comment because I don't want to break up. If anybody who's really interested in communications will be able to go to the communications area and have it and continue this conversation. So this is the last one.
We started using PayPal last year was our first full cycle of using PayPal. And we found that it's very effective for our dues cycle, for large events, and it's actually cheaper than, I know Amiando is very smooth. PayPal is a little, you need to work at it a little more, but we've been paying, I think, 3.5 or 3.6%, which then goes down to 2.4 once you get to a 2,500 euro threshold. So during the months when we have dues coming in, we have money for big events, we gain money because more people, it makes it easier for people to pay their dues, it makes it easier for people to respond for events. Our treasurer has been able to deal with allocating the money that's coming in to the various accounts. So it's a little more work up front, but it's cheaper and we've been happy with it.
Sally, is that an option for your members?
Yes, people can still send a check if they want, or they can bring a check to the office.
Okay.
Can't hear.
Okay. All right, I'd like to just introduce the 5 categories, but we got really excited about communications, and I'm going to ask Cheryl to stay up here because I'd asked her for another category. What are the other kinds of things that you might put up as a best practice under communications? We got quite involved in communicating one way with your club. Other things that might be under communications.
Oh, you mean as a best practice?
As a best practice, let's say under the category of communications, what are some other kinds of things that you might put up there? Since it's not working. Yes.
Well, this isn't done a lot by our club, but one member recently.
No, a category. In generalities, because we'll break up into groups, and then you can go to the communications area and have and continue the conversation on communications. I kind of want to introduce the 5 categories at the moment. So, what are other kinds of things? I'm sorry, what are other kinds of things that you might put under communications? Use of social media. There was a big discussion over breakfast about how do you get your club members to not feel scared about using Facebook. So we had a really nice photo showed up at breakfast, had a really good conversation going about that. That's an area of communications. This whole how do you do invitations, what you're doing about your online newsletter versus hard copy.
Scheduling. You have to.
Okay, scheduling. You could go under how do you do the communications area. Anything else that are issues that might, just to kind of get an idea of what kinds of things you might put under communications as a best practice. Okay, and then the actual best practice is this: how you're doing something that everybody does. Not just what you're doing, but how you're doing with that little special extra secret that is making a difference and is making a better outcome. So let's say that is the definition of what it is practice. Another area we put up there, another category was, I'll look at the categories. What did I have you down for? External PR, which is kind of an odd category, but we really wanted people to start thinking about what do you do to be connected in your community. Okay, so we all, and somehow we do community services, and we do different ways as expats. It's really important for us to show American women in their community as being well accepted and whatever, and also getting resources maybe from your local city government, anything that you can do that's in connection with the city government, with where you live, might be external PR, etc. And one that had come in, unfortunately it's not clicking through, but anyway, one that had best practice that had come into that category was presented by AWA Dubai. It was about a scholarship program that they have. And so I asked Cheryl if she would present that in a moment as, let's say, it's a scholarship program, but in a larger picture, it's actually a way of doing public relations within their community, right? Okay.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, we have a gala and we raise money and we give part of it to philanthropy, most of it to philanthropy, and a portion of it to scholarship. So that affords us the opportunity. We start early on, as soon as everyone's back from the summer and the schools are starting and the open houses and the orientations are going on. Our membership committee and some of our members will go to the school and have our banner and a table with information to tell the parents that we do offer scholarship opportunities to graduating seniors. Anyone that's graduating in Dubai is eligible as long as their mother is a member. So the mother has to become a member by December 31st. We also go to the senior class parents meetings and things like that to all the schools. And so it helps bring in some new members, and it affords the seniors that are studying in Dubai the opportunity to be awarded some what we consider pretty substantial money. This year we gave away $27,000 to the students. So, and then we also have the opportunity not only to tell them about us, and then we tell them all about the program. It's a pretty, I won't say intense program, but it's a very worthwhile program. The students go through 4 different types of competition. So it's not based truly solely on academics. It's based on, finding a well-rounded student that's deserving of the money.
So why is this a best practice, and what is the positive outcome that the club gets from doing this program?
Well, I don't know why. She's saying why.
Why is it a best practice, and what is the outcome that they've seen as a club through doing this scholarship program? It's great for the kids, but how has it been a best practice for the club in terms of your relationship within your community? Let's say your profile, your
Membership.
and can you quantify it?
Yeah, well, I guess I should be able to quantify it, but I don't know that I can offhand. But it does, it gets us out there into the schools, first of all, and it's a great PR tool because so many of these moms may not even know, what are these American women doing? 80% of our membership are Americans and 20% are non-Americans. And the scholarships are available to all of our members. So, for us it's a great PR tool, but of course we're all about giving back. So they're both, for both those reasons, they're best practices and a great PR tool.
So it's helping you achieve your club mission as well.
Absolutely.
By that. Okay, can we?
I have an important question.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like when you click down on the best practice that there is an area there for quantifiable results. But that would be,
Well, it is on the form actually, because it asks you, if you remember the best practices form asks 3 questions: what it is, how it works, and what are the outcomes.
and the outcomes appear then.
Yeah, they will. We're working out the kinks on all of these things, etc. Thank you, Cheryl. And there will be another station that will be about the external PR. So if you have something that you would like to add or to discuss about that, that will be one of the 6 stations. Okay. Another one of the categories. Another one of the categories here was fundraising. And well, we've heard a lot about her today in the last few days, but it's Claudette here. Maybe is Claudette here? Okay. Because obviously AWG Paris put in a best practice about their idea of asking for a corporate matching grant, and that had a huge success, and it was actually quite a new idea. How many other clubs have tried that in the past? Going out to a company and saying, we raised $3,000, will you put up $3,000 as a challenge grant? Oh, you have in Luxembourg. You've done that in the past, okay.
I have a question. Which companies do the members go to? Do you keep your companies that you go for questions and requests through your spouse's companies. We have some members who feel the privacy piece of things, giving their husband's company and names and security reasons, not to.
Okay. Is anyone else here from AWG? Paris? Okay, because Claudette isn't here, so I don't know how they went about that. But that's a question you could put on. You could go to their. And it's just blocked right now. I'm having a problem getting through. But if you go through the Best Practices Library under fundraising and under the best practice that they submitted, you can go down in the comment area and say, oh wow, this sounds really interesting, but how does that work exactly, etc. Then maybe there's another club, Luxembourg, who's done the same thing, who could comment in response to that and tell how they did it. And you see what I mean? You can get a conversation going. That's one of the points. Another category is club man. So what other kinds of fundraising is pretty self-explicit. But we're not talking as much about what kind of fundraising things you do, but how you do them. How you, let's say, how you get better results with less work. Which is actually what a best practice is all about. You know, that 20-80, spending 20% of your energy and getting 80% of your results would be a best practice that I bet everybody would like to hear about.
I don't know, maybe it'd be helpful, because I'm thinking of myself going through this, just an idea. It's usually a problem. It's a problem solve, how to make newcomers welcome, how to better communicate. So maybe, you know, if I was looking through that and I could see maybe very quickly at the very top what was the problem, then I know what I'm looking for underneath what is some of the solutions that are going through. Kind of like a dissertation paper. This is my theory.
It's important what you put as a title. Make sure your title is sort of self-explanatory about what the problem is that your best practice is addressing. It might be faster, easier, one thing or another. Okay, fundraising is pretty self-explanatory. Club management is another area. In club management, I'd like to explain a little bit, because if we're talking about how your board is run, it might be board turnover. Anybody have any really good systems that helps? We all have board turnover issues, no? So maybe there's some clubs that have a secret formula for making that work effectively. It might be if you're financial planning. Maybe some of you actually are doing strategic planning, and which would be really good for all the clubs to share and to know how you're doing that. The club management today, I asked Kathleen is here somewhere. Oh, there she is. Another coffee, they have a clubhouse, and all the people with clubhouses are undergoing a lot of financial questioning on how to survive with membership down in a clubhouse from the 1970s, etc. And their club had come up with quite a good solution that they shared as a best practice at the Region 4 meeting this year. That I'm going to ask her to stand up, because she actually wrote it up and put it in the best practice library. And made that special effort. So club management, your clubhouse would be another area that would be club management. Financial practices, board management practices, all those kinds of things would go under club management. And so there will be a stand over there as well for anybody who would like to explore what kinds of best practices there would be under the area of club management. So quickly,
so where do I put tax and banking seminar templates? Under what category?
I guess under activities.
Are people going to think to look under activities?
No. As a best practice.
These are really the best practice because it deals with members' problems, membership.
Well, membership is more about recruiting and maintaining members, really. Recruiting, welcoming, and maintaining. That's a good question. It's a, yeah, it's not,
Repeat the question.
How about U.S. problems or U.S. issues?
Yeah, U.S.
issues or something.
Maybe we need a new category.
Okay, but these are actually best practices, not content. I think that's different. One thing is content, and another is a practice. So a practice might be
How to do a seminar.
setting. A good practice might be a regular routine of regularly scheduled seminars. That would be a practice. You see what I mean? So that might go under activities. Does your club set up a regular activity for U.S. issues?
And use the title handle issues. could be any issue, but, and then the first issue would be.
Yeah, but there's
Which would kind of be, canceling issues would kind of be under club management. It's going to take a little while for us to get an idea. Maybe Lynn and I spent a while brainstorming on what categories, and because you don't want to have, just a free-for-all. We really wanted to break them down into categories. We've come up with 6, but maybe we need 7, or maybe 5. Yes.
I agree with what Clarissa was saying, that maybe the layout should be sort of problem, solution, results.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll get it, I got it.
Thank you. Secretary over there. Okay. Yeah, because we have Kat who's there. We can tweak. We're in the tweaking place right now. We did our basic homework. We got something, and now we can start a dialogue and try to tweak and adjust it, and whatever will be the most useful for everybody over the year. So I'll let Kathleen come up because she submitted a best practice. So the little prize you get when you actually submit one is that you get to come up and present to everyone.
So our best practice is how to have a clubhouse but not sink under the mortgage. We have a 2-bedroom apartment, and we have one of those bedrooms that we rent out. The rent is 3/4 of our mortgage, and the rest of it is paid under dues. So we're basically not running around fundraising and increasing dues and so forth. The way it works, though, we can have a male or a female renter. We get to use the clubhouse as members 5 days a week, just during the day. One night a month, we get to have our ladies' nights or anything else we want to do. But if this person is sick and they have to stay home, it's a problem if they're men, obviously, because we want women in our clubhouse at this point. So they do get to do a beeline to the toilet, but they basically have to stay in their bedroom. But it works, actually. You're giggling, but it works because most people are not sick. So, and if it's a female renter, then it's not a problem whatsoever. So I actually, in the 3 years I've been there, I've never seen any of our renters. So it really works. And we get access a little bit before members and after members, but we basically have use of our kitchen, which is a fully equipped kitchen because it's for our renter in the evening. In the kitchen we have American groceries that we sell, so we have a space for that. And remember, it's not a big, huge house, it's just a 2-bedroom apartment, so it's a rather small kitchen, but we still have space to sell groceries, and we sell a lot of groceries. We have one of the bedrooms that we use for our board meetings, so it's, up to 15 people around, squished, but still squished around the table, but we have plenty of room there as well. For the printer, for our computers and so forth. We also use that room for example, quilting and scrapbooking where they need a big table. People use that room. We have a living room, again, not huge, but it serves our purposes for any activities for 20 people or less. So we have all of our, not all, because we have 3, but we have some of our book clubs are there. We have our language classes that are there. All these things are for free, but it's a place where members can come. And it's helped us, again, avoid having to, well, it allows us a physical space, so our members appreciate that, and they can come and gather, but we don't, again, have to constantly be worrying about the mortgage. When we have, because we're 375 members, so when we have our large monthly meetings, we rent out a space outside, and actually we don't rent, we don't pay a rent, we just go to a restaurant and they'll set it up, it's just the price of the meal. So everyone knows that the monthly meetings, the monthly brunches are somewhere else, and we can change those places as need be, and we let people know about that. In the living room, we also have space where we set up our book or DVD library, so we offer that service as well. We have our little boutique, little area, and again, it's a rather small, but we managed to have all this stuff. And in the little boutique, we get 15% of the commission, so of the sales, so we have that. We also have our welcome desk with our, cash box, and we register people there. So it's a working space as well. Yes, it's very important as well. We have storage space. We have a garage, so we have that for our storage, and we have a basement as well. So we have storage. So we kind of have, I think I've covered everything, but honestly, we seem to have the best of everything, and I never realized this until I went to different regional meetings and meetings like this, and realized the stress that many of my colleagues and sister clubs were having over trying to make their mortgage, and a lot of these gorgeous clubhouses that I've seen have now been sold, or people are stressing out. So that's our solution.
So why is it, so it's a best practice?
It's a best practice because we can have a clubhouse and not sink under the mortgage.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty big outcome actually, because a lot of clubs are finding themselves in the position of having to sell their clubhouses because they're diminishing membership because of just demographics, companies moving out of a certain area or whatever. So that's one solution that they came up with. You have created like a huge, I see about 10 hands going up. Judy's really interested. Yes.
I had one question. How do you manage the key to this and people coming in and out when you're having a SUS? How do you manage that? Do you understand what I mean?
The physical key to the clubhouse?
Yeah, I mean, the door is not open all the time for everybody. How are you handling that?
Well, it's an apartment, so we have to buzz in anyway. So people can only get in when there's someone at the reception desk. Oh, we have volunteers who man the registration and cash box and so forth, 5 days a week.
So you just buzz in and the reception lets anybody in?
Luxembourg's really safe. Yes, we let anybody in.
Okay, yeah.
But that could be easily, we could say, who are you? It's a telephone we pick up, and who are you? And I'm Judy from Bel Air, and we'll say, okay.
But then somebody's in the apartment already.
Yes, there's always someone from 8:30 till 9:30 to 3, the clubhouse is open. So there's always a volunteer at the desk.
Okay.
I'm going to, I'd really like to let you have some conversations among ourselves and get up and stretch our legs, etc. So I'm going to ask Kathleen to start at the stand that will be under club management. Okay. I'm going to ask Kathleen Emily to go to the first flip chart and write on the top club management. And I'll ask Kathleen to start her tour at the club management board. So anybody who has further questions specifically about their solution to clubhouse mortgage issues can start over at the club management board and continue the conversation with Kathleen. Will that work?
Yes.
Okay, no, just so because not everybody has a clubhouse and having a conversation that everyone is irrelevant to. Yes?
It's a question about categories. I think is there a publications category?
It would be under communications. That's another area under communications.
I almost think that's a separate, that's communications.
Well, it's communications, publications. Okay. It's how you, how you communicate with your client. In fact, we didn't mention that. Sure. Social media, and all the different ways that you communicate with your club, and one would obviously be if you have an online versus a print publication. If you put out a book and you want to share that with other people, that's always communications.
Can I just say very quickly that Lisa Williams is our club president. She knows all about this too, so you can talk to her as well.
You can start over here as well. Okay, Judy.
Yeah, we have to do some serious catch-up on this, but anyway, when you're putting this in, can you select one category and then figure out which one probably?
Yeah.
Is it going to be listed under one category? When it actually goes in?
It should. I do have to double check that, but I remember that our conversation with Kat was that you could put something into more than one category across categorize, yes.
Is it possible to pose a question? If you're looking for something, maybe somebody hasn't thought that, but you have a question about that. Is it possible for us to maybe go in and say, I need a solution for this?
Wow.
I know.
Would you be on my committee? Have I got a job for you? You know where else you could do that? Can anybody think of somewhere else you might be able to post a question like that? Yeah, there's the discussion forum on the website. How many people go to the discussion forum? I think it's a whole lot of activity. Yes, there you go. Go on the Facebook page and open up the discussion on the Facebook page. I'll see it because I hang out on the Falco Facebook page, and then if you put that out, there might be some comments that come through. And then at some point we can solidify that, whatever comes out of the Facebook discussion, and make sure that it gets into the best practices library. How many of you like the Falco Facebook page? How many are going to like it on Tuesday? Okay. Okay, so we're going to break up. Put Emily here over Club Management. I see Coralie. What category would you like? Fundraising, because she's the money lady. So take a flip chart and write fundraising on the top. Who else was going to help me out? Lucy, would you do one? You might be But you would, would you pick a category? Any categories? Yeah, somehow it's blocking. Oh, there it is. Okay. Communications. Sure. Pick a flip chart and she'll charge up there. Who else was going to help me out this year today? That's a board member or what category would you like? Activities, maybe, since you're doing task forces. Activities? Sure. Okay. And just pick a chart. Membership. Take another one. Let me see what people here. Let's see who else. George, could I ask you to take some notes on membership? Okay, one of the flip charts will be membership, and the last one, external relations. Okay, so we'll have 6 charts around the room. I want you to go to. Wait, before we break up, because I have a feeling this group will be very difficult to get back together, I want you to find one person either in front of you, next to you, that comes from a different club. Okay, identify someone around you that comes from a different club. Everybody found somebody? Make a pair, make a partner. Okay, hold your partner's hand and raise it. Okay, Tracy, listen to directions, please. Hold your partner's hand and raise your hand. It has to be someone from a different club, not the club that you are in. Okay. What you're going to do before you get up and go around the room is you're going to exchange names and emails, or else the emails are in the directory, I guess. And let's say next Wednesday, I'll give you like 8 days, 10 days, I'd like you to email each other and say, what did you do when you got back home this week? Did you sign up for the Facebook page like you said you would? Did you? So whatever it is that you set out for